In today's lesson 1.2, we'll be discussing exponents, order of operations, as well as some inequality symbols. In the problem 8 to the second, the base is our 8 and the 2 is our exponent, which tells us how many times that we multiply our base. And 8 squared means 8 times 8, which is 64. Now, remember, it does not mean 8 times 2. Many people get confused and want to multiply the base times the exponent. The exponent only tells us how many times to repeat our base. In the example 3 to the 4th, this 4 tells us that we use the 3 4 times. So we'll do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 would give us 9. 3 times 3 would give us another 9. And 9 times 9 would give us 81. This is not 3 times 4, which would be 12. Please do not make that mistake as you work through these problems. In our next part of this lesson, we will discuss order of operations. The order of operations says, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, add and subtract as you come to them in the problem. And our particular problem here, as we read our problem from left to right, 4 times 4 would give us 16 plus 8. And we can't add yet because we have to do the division. 8 divided by 2, we have to come back and say that 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now we're ready to combine the 16 with the 4 and get a 20. Review back over each problem as you work it, and it'll be important that you write down the steps as you do this so that you don't get confused. Maybe you want to underline the part of the problem that you're working. You're doing the 3 times the 4, 4 times the 4 first to get 16. And then 8 divided by 2 to give us 4. And finally, you add in the end, because addition is done only after you have done all the multiplication and division. In the next problem, as we look at it and we analyze the problem, the operation that we would do first is the division in the middle. Notice that we can't add the 12 or subtract the 4 until we've divided by the 8. As we do that, we'll go ahead and write down our 12 plus 64 divided by 8 will give us 8 minus 4. Now, as we go back and rework the problem, you always go back to the beginning and do your addition and subtraction as you come to it in your problem. 12 plus 8 will give you 20, and 20 minus 4 will give you an answer of 16. As we look at that, we have simplified each one of the operations, doing our multiplication, our division first, then adding and subtracting as we came to it in our problem. Sometimes you will have problems that involve not only adding, subtracting, multiplication, division, you have exponents, and you'll also have a fraction bar in some of your exercises. Now this bar is like a parenthesis. It separates the numerator from the denominator, and it tells you work the top part of the problem and the bottom part separately till you get it down to a single number, and then you can condense that. So if we work inside our parentheses first here, we will do the exponent first. 3 squared will give us 9 minus 1 plus 8 all over 8 minus, and we'll get rid of this 2 squared, which will give us 4. Now, remember, the base is used a number of times that the exponent tells you. So here it says that we'll do 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, which gives us 9. This is 2 squared, which is 4. Now, moving on in our problem, our order of operations says that you do the parentheses before you add and multiply. So inside of parentheses, we're going to get an 8 plus an 8, and we can go ahead and simplify that bottom to a 4. Now 6 times 8 would give us 48, and 48 plus 8 would give us 4. When we simplify that, we get 56, and 56 divided by 4 would give us an answer of 14 in the end. That is the simplest form of that problem. Now, as you move to the last part of this lesson, and it's going to talk to you about types of symbols, it's important that you know how to use those. All of you are familiar with an equal sign. If you take an equal sign and you draw a line through it, it becomes not equal. This sign means less than. Notice it points to the left, greater than. This means greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. And the chart of these is in your book on page 20. You may want to review. But if I'm going to compare the number 6 to the number 2, the number 2 is smaller than 6, so I will say 6 is greater than 2. Notice the point of my sign points to the smaller number, the 2. If I have 12 and 24, 12 is smaller than 24, so I would say 12 is less than 24, and the point of my sign points to the 12. In a sentence that you have to convert into numbers, if it says 4 is less than or equal to 10, we put our number 4. It says is less than or equal to. Less than or equal to is written with a line underneath it, and then the number 10. As you work through the lessons 1.2 and you solve these problems, be sure to go back and reread your directions so that you get them correct and so that you don't make any mistakes in your work.